Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Friday edition of the Computer America Show, our pre-show here on our live video stream, and welcome to the program. Ben and I are going to be talking to and interacting with the talented and lovely Nathan Evans from Popzara is going to be joining us here for both hours. And since it's Friday, we're kind of all over the road here, so we're going to be talking everything from
movies, games, music, technology. I'm sure Apple's going to make its way in there inevitably.
Somehow, somewhere, yeah, we're going to get that too. And so sit back, relax.
1 minute until showtime.
We also have our social media Wonder of the Week coming up too. So stay with us. You're listening to Computer America.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it is Friday! Yes, yet another week of broadcasting excellence in the round, circular, cylindrical receptacle. And
so you're just going to keep changing the phrase instead of just changing the phrase.
Yeah, we can't. It gets monotonous using the same.
Well, yeah. Well,
we have
let's not use another week in the can. Let's. We survived! Yay!
We survived. Yes, but I want to let people know we archived the whole week for them. So that's another way
of course.
So yeah, it's Friday. We all made it, I think. All of you who made it, raise your hands.
Yeah. That's everyone raised their hands, so no one didn't make it. That's good.
That is good. Yeah, and since it's Friday, I'm always thrilled to have our guest who's going to be joining us for both hours. Nathan Evans, managing editor of Popzara magazine, and he's going to be here with us for both hours, talking about anything and everything: games, movies, computers. It's just all over the road, and we really like that kind of show for a Friday. Very relaxed and informative, and now we invite you to join us too. This show, we're here for you here on Computer America, and we'd love for you to join us. If you have a comment, a question, suggestion, whatever, we'd love to hear from you, and you can do that in one of a couple of ways. You can just call us on the phone. Pick up the phone, 347-884-8881, 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. That only works, by the way, when we're live. And our new time slot, by the way, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. This is like our third week now doing that. And if you're catching us live, you can call us, 347-884-8881. Tell us what's on your mind. The other way, if you don't want to go on the air but you still have a comment or question, you can go to our website at ComputerAmerica.com, and we have there in place on any page at ComputerAmerica.com, the upper right-hand corner, it'll say Submit a Question. Just click it. It'll take you to our question submission page. Type in whatever you want to. Click the Submit button. Ben and I will see it, and then we can deal with it accordingly. Now, the other thing that you can do to interact with us is watch our live video stream. Yes, we are a radio talk show, but now we bring to you live video of our talk show. You can see myself, you can see Ben, you can sort of see our guest.
You see the visual approximation of our guest.
Yeah, you'll see a visual approximation. And also, Ben has the technology to display websites, videos, movies, which we will probably be doing on today's show. So you can see all of that when you're watching a live video stream. Just head over to computeramerica.com, and you'll see it says Show Lounge on any page there. It's in our menu, so it'll say Show Lounge. Just click that, and the live video stream will begin automatically. You don't have to do anything else, and you can sit there and watch the show as well as listen to the program when we are live. Now, obviously, when we are not live, all this gets archived. Our videos get archived, our audio gets archived. Go to our archives page. You can see all the places that archive our show. We've added 2 new ones since the past few weeks. We are now archived on SoundCloud, and we're also archived on Stitcher. Now carries Computer America. So in addition to iTunes and the Blog Talk Radio Network and all the other places that carry the show, either archived or live. So you can see all of that there at computeramerica.com. Okay, anything else to mention, Ben, before we bring our guest on?
Anything else? No. Like Eric just said, check out our show archives on Stitcher. And SoundCloud will be updated shortly, probably this weekend. And other than that, I think we're good to go.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about Popzara. The word Popzara is defined as being a bazaar of popular culture spanning the world of arts and entertainment. That's its actual definition. Now, throughout Popzara, the website, you'll see views on video, gaming, movies, technology, cultural movements, and icons, and yes, even politics. There you can find opinion pieces, debates, reflections, reviews, and analysis, news tidbits, and so much more. So back with us today is the managing editor of Popzara, Nathan Evans. Nate, welcome back into Computer America. How are you?
Hey, Craig. Hey, Ben. And you didn't hear it, but in the introduction, you either called me pretty or fabulous, and I take offense to that. I am Mr. Congeniality.
Okay.
That's what Donald Trump told me. That's what I'm sticking by.
So noted. We'll use that next time. So noted. So how the heck are you?
I am good. I'm loving this new Friday thing because now I don't have to make an excuse to not hang out with people. Now I can genuinely be isolated from my friends at Friday night. I don't have any built-in excuse anymore. Thanks a lot.
Well, we try to aim to please. You know, what can I say? So that's 2 now. We addressed you with the wrong title, and now we got you.
And now we've taken away your Friday night stay in and eat pizza excuse.
Yeah. That is my picture. That's how sad I am. I'm distressed at this craziness.
Well, we're distressed that you're distressed, but we're glad that you're here, and we have so much to talk about. By the way, I forgot to mention we're also going to have our in the second hour we're going to have our social media winner of the week is going to be announced. We're going to do that too. So that's all coming up on the program, and we got a question that was submitted to us by the. It's not really relevant to anything that we're talking about. I think what I'll do is I'll address it in the second hour. We've got a comment, and I think I will address it. So we'll wait till the second hour to do that.
So, Craig, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You said that you guys are on Stitcher now.
Yes, we are.
Welcome to the family, because we've been on Stitcher for a while. It's pretty fun. Are you guys on TuneIn yet as well?
Yes. We're on the TuneIn Radio Network. Mm-hmm, absolutely.
I can't refer you to anybody else. You got them all.
We're also on the IRN Radio Network. We're on a bunch of networks. So obviously, the Blog Talk Radio Network.
Some guy named Steve, like 3 blocks down, he has a little radio station in his basement. We're on him too. So we're getting out there.
You got all the birthers and the preppers.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we are. So, as I always, before we get started, I always ask Nathan, so what do you want to talk about? And he always sends me a list of questions and stuff, but I'm sort of going to give you the lead here, Ben, and I know you have all these topics. Is anything that you particularly you'd like to talk to Nathan about?
Me, personally?
I mean,
well,
don't sound so excited.
The dating game has been rather unfortunate lately, so I mean.
Okay, first of all, Nice cologne, nice wine, okay Cupid, and low standards. It's not hard.
That's good advice.
7 billion people in the world, Ben. It ain't hard. So,
That's
Yeah.
good advice. So throw a bigger net. I gotcha.
All right,
but
I see. I'll have to lead through this. Ben sent me this thing about with Super Mario Brothers. This is a movie.
no.
No.
Okay, Greg, we're gonna go on from this point. Super Mario is a whole universe unto itself. You got Super Mario N64. I believe there's like a Paper Mario. There's Super Mario Brothers. There's a whole bunch of different games within the Super Mario universe.
Yeah.
So don't refer to every game as Super Mario Brothers. That's just one of them. But this new one that came out, Super Mario Maker, has been getting crazy good reviews and a lot of playtime by a lot of people.
I want to add one really bad review, which I want to talk about later.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I know. Go figure. There's a heretic out there. By the way, Craig, thank you for calling it Super Mario Brothers instead of Super Mario Brothers.
No.
Right.
It's very common for people to mispronounce a game that every other time you play it keeps saying Mario, 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 Mario.
I think those who call it Mario are just the parents who buy the game and then they don't actually play it.
I would never mispronounce it.
There you go. So I mean, if you'd actually Nathan like to start off with that one, I'm gonna play a video in the background.
I see how it is.
Yeah,
Let me do all the work while you play.
Well, it's just video, and this is of a level, because I guess we should give an overview of what the game is, and then why it's why it's popular, and then I guess what does all this mean. So I guess if you'd like to say what Super Mario Maker is.
Sure. Okay. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, some of you listening out there were not born when the original Super Mario Brothers came out, and came out September 1985. Now, I know there was a world before you were born.
Really?
So, but here's the deal: Super Mario Brothers is like Ben mentioned, is the name of basically a never-ending Nintendo universe of goodness. But Mario originally began as the antagonist to Donkey Kong in the original Donkey Kong game. That's before he had a midlife career switch from carpenter to plumber, although he doesn't really do a lot of plumbing. But eventually Donkey Kong begat Mario Brothers begat Super Mario Brothers on the arcade and NES, or Famicom, 30 years ago, and now it begets Super Mario Maker, which is Nintendo's birthday gift to fans everywhere that allows them to create their own levels, upload them, share, and basically rip their hair out in trying to figure out exactly how they can beat these damn levels. And as you just saw in the video, one of the beautiful things is that basically, almost like a Dropbox code, if you upload a level that's approved by Nintendo's whatevers, it gives you a little code, and you can share that with anybody who has the game, and anybody can play it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting.
Right. It's and of course that code, you receive that code, of course, because anyone can go in and make a game. That's the whole point of a Super Mario Maker. It's kind of saying, okay, guys, you're so smart. Here, now go make your own Mario level. See how well you do.
Yes.
And you have to beat it though in its entirety. So you can't make something that's impossible and then just be like, oh, this is gonna stump a whole bunch of people. This is gonna be fun. No, you have to be able to beat it first.
Now,
in the video.
Now, while you're talking, that's on your screen is not Mario. You got a giant slug creature with shades and a bunch of ugly creatures. Scroll down a little bit, and you'll see on the Popzara website we have lots of Mario stuff. We have a podcast. We have this because we love this damn game. It made one of my editors cry, and I'm not going to say who it was, but it was me. So no, I have words to say, and I'm going to let Ben say his words first.
About Super Mario Maker, I mean, it's I've only seen it played. It's very, very entertaining to watch because it's like you're not just in a story mode. You're not just in a regular game. This is kind of like the open source Mario, and it's a whole lot of fun to see people, kind of try things out, do different things, and I really didn't get any kind of emotional reaction. I definitely didn't cry from it.
You didn't play it, that's why.
Yeah, but just watching it, it's one of the most entertaining things that I've seen with Mario.
Yes, you can't see it, but here that's my Wii U right here, and I could boot the game up and play it while you're talking, and you would never know it. But no, let me ask you a question, man. Do you have a Wii U?
I do not have a Wii U.
Okay,
That's one of the reasons I didn't play it.
And why don't you have a Wii U? Not judging, not judging. We all make mistakes in life, but no. But the answer you're probably going to give is that you either A, there's not enough games, or B, it's not the type of games you like. And when a game like Mario Maker comes around, everybody says, man, I really wish I had a Wii U so I could play that game. And then there's another Nintendo game that comes out, man, I really wish I had a Wii U to play that game. Here's the thing, buy a Wii U, and then you can
Right.
play the game.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I mean, there was a Star Fox came out not too long ago, and that made me want to get a Wii U. And now Super Mario Maker, that looks like a ton of fun.
See, now I know you don't have a Wii U because Star Fox hadn't come out. It was delayed till next year. Shame on you. Out to the kitchen. Out to the kitchen. See, this is what happens when you don't have the console. Very simple. Dr. Nathan, let me put on my hat. I prescribe you like a Dr. Mario. Go out and buy a Wii U. There's a Super Mario Maker bundle with a amiibo that will melt your heart. And if you're a Nintendo fanboy, you just went into conniptions because you just got a super dose of Mario. It's Nintendo. It's Nintendo, and I could go off all day. It's just there's Xbox and PlayStation, and there's Nintendo. It's not even the same anymore. It's different. It's a different market. It's a different universe. It's gaming at its core, and I don't want to wax poetic on it, but the fact is, the actual fact is, there are other games like this. There's Minecraft. There's level creations. There's all kinds of stuff. But this is Nintendo, the biggest biggest gaming software company in the world, with their mascot, who's still popular, giving you tools to make your own stuff, and people evidently like it. Go figure. Who knew?
Right. It's they definitely have a hit on their hands. And do you have any numbers to kind of back up the fact that maybe people are running out and actually buying a Wii U? Because we've always known that the console sales of Wii U have always been kind of flat.
Yes, there's websites out there that sort of approach and aggregate these numbers from retailers and make assumptions. But by all accounts, I know in Japan, it's caused the Wii U to sort of wake out of its slumber. And I will be clear about something. Mario games always have this effect. Now, this is interesting for a plumber who's going on 30 something, is that for some reason, people always play Mario. It is universally the most beloved gaming series of all time. Clearly, I would make the argument. I could probably prove it if I had a PowerPoint and a lot of time and coffee. But Mario is most likely the most recognized character in the world in any medium. And unlike Disney characters, unlike Looney Tunes, and unlike some would say The Simpsons, Nintendo has kept him fresh and kept him vital throughout the years. And the fact is, they're allowing people to sort of tinker with that legacy and potentially screw it up is amazing to me. And I think it represents an openness in Nintendo. And what makes this sort of forlorn, Ben, is that, of course, we all know that Nintendo's CEO passed away this summer, Iwata. And Iwata was integral to helping revitalize Nintendo's image. And yeah, the Wii U sales, there's no way around it. It's definitely flat considering where the Wii was. But one could argue that Nintendo has produced the best exclusive games for any console. And
for sure.
Our fellow friend Grayson Hamilton and I have a monthly podcast at Popzara where we talk about the sales numbers in depth. And every month we find out that exclusives on the Xbox and on the PlayStation fail to live up to their expectations to sort of ingratiate these consoles as must-haves like the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 did, but not Nintendo stuff. Nintendo stuff always sells well. It always does. And not only that, they're usually genre-defining things. It's pretty amazing to me that a company can take these franchises and still continue to make them fresh and irrelevant. Look at that picture. That makes you happy. Look at that. Just look at that picture. It just makes you want to go out and buy 1,000 Wii U's just because you're addicted. But the fact is, it is what it is. It's the magic touch. The game is fantastic. In my personal opinion, I haven't even told anyone this. It's my choice for Game of the Year.
Really?
Clearly. I mean, not to disparage a lot of other great games that have come out this year, but the fact is that it's the most fresh and original. And it's fresh and original because the stuff that you do is not fresh and original. Like you're using a toolkit that could have been made 30 years ago. But it's available to you for the first time by a major publisher. It's pretty, and not only that, the interface sings. My editor Corey brought this up. Everything you touch sings and makes noises and squawks and sort. There's a musical tie that really makes this game the spiritual successor, if not the outright successor, to Mario Paint, which came out 24 years ago. Was it?
Yeah, but that's that's just the heart of what you're talking about earlier, where this is gaming at its core. Everything has a nice little sound effect. Everything's chipper. You play and you play and you play, and I guess at the end of the day, you never really get bored. And maybe if depending on what level you created and if you beat it and all that kind of stuff, uh, did you walk away from this every time you played it? Did you walk away with a sense of I accomplished something, or that felt good, or that was
Oh
a
no, not
good
at all.
session?
I felt downtrodden that I'm inadequate. I felt terrible. I wanted to throw the Wii U across the screen. I said I can't do this anymore, but I always came back.
Hmm.
I thought about it. I said, what did I do wrong? Now, if I really took this seriously, like a musician, I would go back and I would study graph designs. I would study level design. Here's the point, Ben. This is not a passive experience. This is a very interactive experience. Not only that, this is an interactive experience to the way there are people out there. The entirety of gaming, the entirety of the gaming world in response to consoles and to some extent PC stuff, has always been sheltered and cloistered. It's a linear experience that drives to make you buy the game and keep playing, keep playing, keep playing. Get some gamer fuel, get some Mountain Dew, get some Doritos chips, even the gay ones, and just do this all day long and never stop interacting. You're a consumer. The idea that you could possibly, even remotely, have the opportunity to give back to that has been so cloistered from people. And that negative review I mentioned, I'm not going to mention the guy's name because frankly I forgot it. I don't really feel like looking it up. But it was in the Washington Times, and he disparaged the player. He called them deluded because they think they could create levels? How dare they? Shame on you. Well, shame on you, sir. The fact is there's somebody, a boy or a little girl, or this is what, 2015, it could be either or maybe both, is going to play this game, and it's going to awaken something in them. And it's going to have that cathartic eureka moment where they say, wait a minute, I can do this too. And yeah, maybe it's not a CAD level design with a MacBook Pro. Maybe it's just a stylus, but it's going to have an effect on them. And they're going to go out and they're going to be a game developer because of this game. And maybe there might be a lot of them. And that's a great thing. That's amazing. In 2015, this is what should be standard. Stuff like Minecraft, stuff like level developers. Go for it, man. Bring it all out. I think it's fantastic.
Well, we know that Minecraft has been used in education a lot in recent years. And they let kids play with it. They even have some schools actually have classes around Minecraft and building it and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So, do you think this could somehow be on the same level where?
Not really. And the reason I don't say that in a bad way. When I told you we looked at those sales figures, the number 2 selling game in this country last month was Minecraft.
Wow.
Minecraft has been out for years, and
Really?
it's outselling everything. It's Microsoft. It's the best-selling game Microsoft has ever produced, and they had to buy it to get it.
Yeah, and they bought it.
In 2015, a game that came out years ago was the number 2 best-selling game, and it's never left. It's always a bestseller, always. It's the number, like we talked about the Apple TV. You bet your booty they're going to have They're going to bring the iOS version on Apple TV. It is a phenomenon, and it's about creation, and people like that because it gives them an opportunity. And gaming is creative. Gaming is a very creative thing.
Right.
I mean, Mario itself is very endemic of that. I mean, Mario is, do I beat this level without the raccoon suit? Do I beat it with the raccoon suit? Do I jump on the Koopas, or do I not jump on the Koopas? It's very creative. It's very non-linear. It's very elemental. There's a story, very famous story about Miyamoto. And of course, everybody quotes this story, but I'll quote it again because it's easy. How he didn't start as a game developer. His first thing was he developed a hanger that allowed short children to get their clothes off by making it look like an elephant. It's about creating things. It's about going in your garden and saying, I want to make a game called Pikmin. It's about a poor Russian kid developing the most popular puzzle game in the world. It's about a woman developing a RPG series in the 80s called King's Quest. It's about the idea that anybody can add to this medium, and the fact that it's been so shackled over the last 15 or so years. Yeah, so if Super Mario Maker and Minecraft can help bust it out of that shell, so to speak, then yeah, bust away.
Wasn't King's Quest was there was a husband and wife team, right?
Yes. Mostly famously Roberta Williams. Forgive me, I don't know the husband,
Yeah.
but you know, and you know, the Kingsfield has been rebooted as sort of a Telltale Games derivative, but the fact is, Ben, the reason I don't think so much is because the Wii U is a rather expensive piece of hardware, whereas Minecraft can be played on a pocket calculator.
Right.
And or an iPhone, but and you know what I mean, and to that extent, who knows? I mean, we saw the original Wii, cheap as it was, put in nursing homes for Wii Sports. What a great medium gaming is when it's just when you rip it from the nerds and rip it from the elitists and give it back to the people. You know, what a great thing. And I think, yeah, as soon as I get done with this show, I'm going to play Mario Maker. So I have a level I've been working on. But
well, what is Ben? You sent me the video to watch Mario Maker. Why don't you explain to maybe you can play the video up on the background so people can see it. Kind of
yeah, I played it once. Let me pull it back up here. This is if I can just get to it. This is a level of Mario Maker, and someone actually did this on a live stream because I frequent Twitch often, and I'm a fan of watching people play video games. And Mario Maker, you know, like there's Call of Duty, or not Call of Duty, I'm sorry, Counter-Strike, Global Offensive. There's League of Legends. There's Diablo, StarCraft. Like there is huge games that are always in the top 10, top 8. And ever since Mario Maker's been out, it's been in the top, I don't know, the top 5 ever since it's been out. I mean, it's just going crazy. So this was a gentleman who spent 9 hours on stream 5 hours making this level, and then 9 hours trying to beat it. And and the video we're watching is the actual run that he beat it and was, given his code that he can then distribute his game. So now you can go try and beat this incredibly insane level.
Well, I was gonna say, what makes it so hard? I mean, I see the lava, so he's throwing things down in the lava so he can't get hurt.
He did things that I don't think a lot of people know that you can do in Super Mario.
Yes.
If you watch, he's actually picking things up, throwing them, bouncing off walls, bouncing off the items that then bounce off the walls, picking up items, going invulnerable for a little bit because he had a shell, running on spikes. Like, he's doing all the, every minute little trick you can do, he's doing them all to the nth degree.
You look at the timing of that and the coordination that affects that. That is. See, to me, anybody who says this game's not hardcore is an idiot. That's incredible.
Right, and you can see at the top there it says 8 hours, 59 minutes, and 20 seconds. So he spent 9 hours trying to beat this, and this is the hardest level that I've seen. But of course, it's a very popular game. So there are thousands of levels out there that you can go and maybe you and your friends, you each try to make a level and try to beat it, and whoever beats it the fastest loses. It's just taking Mario to a different place.
I think what's interesting is as soon as the level's over, it gives you that code, which is basically a evolution of the Nintendo Friend Code.
Right.
You see that code, you say, I like that level. You go to your Wii U, you have the level. That's pretty cool to me. That's instant gratification for torture, especially if you want to play that.
Now, why are we seeing this error message? I'm sorry.
Well, it's not an error. Well, that's the gentleman who actually made the video. He was live streaming, and he just kind of left it off there because I'm sure he passed out from exhaustion after trying to beat that level for 9 hours.
Because when you're uploading a level, Craig, it will not allow you to upload it until it says, "Hey, let's beat your level first," and unless you beat it, you don't get an upload code.
Right.
So it's sort of a built-in safety net for crybabies.
So, but yeah, it's little things like that, and Mario has always been a favorite of speedrunners and things like that, and it's always had, I think people have nice memories of certain Mario games, and people will always be a fan, but none of the later Mario games have really caught that much attention.
Well,
but this one has.
Except for New Super Mario Brothers, which sold 40 million copies.
When was that released?
2000, I want to say 2006. And then there was New Super Mario Brothers on the Wii, which came out, and I think it was to celebrate the 25th. That sold another 30 million. You see, that's the problem. Because no one really tracks the numbers. It's really hard to tell.
Right.
Because we all make a big deal about a Halo selling 5 million or 2 million. When Nintendo comes out with a new Super Mario Bros. And it sells 30, 40 million, we expect that. That's amazing. This is why this company can fail and fail and fail and fail and fail and just have one success and it all comes back. It's amazing. They have a giant mushroom safety net.
Yeah, they always have that, big red mushroom in case they ever need to bail themselves out, I guess, in Mario.
You want to know?
But
You want to know an interesting fact? Here's
what's that?
This is going to scare you and make you feel really terrible about yourself. They so Mario Kart came out on the original Wii
Mm-hmm.
back in 2007, I want to say. That single game has sold more copies. One game, Mario Kart, by the way, on the Wii has sold more copies than all of the Halo games put together. Shocking, you know?
Yeah. It's
It's an addiction.
it's kind of hard to believe because we always think of Halo as a very storied and very popular franchise, and then something like Mario Kart, which is incredibly popular in its own right. I remember playing the 64 version, but I mean, Nintendo's crazy.
It's because, well, it's really easy to figure out. It's the fact that it has a broader appeal than Halo. Halo's very popular in the gaming community. So is Mario. So they both have that thing. But Halo's appeal does not extend to grandmothers. Okay, there is one pretty awesome grandmother who plays Halo, but she's one. And I don't even think she's alive anymore. But
Aw.
but you have Halo that appeals to a very niche group of gamers, and it sells continuously well, as does Call of Duty. But it really doesn't expand beyond them. Whereas everybody plays Mario.
Right.
Everybody plays Mario, and
Uh,
that's usually what it does.
And we're going to take a little break here and continue on. Nathan Evans stays with us for both hours. You're listening to the Computer America Show. We have a news test pulled review of the week also. And our social media winner contest, we have a winner coming up in the second hour. Nathan Evans continues on with us. This is Computer America. Stay with us.
Sometimes disaster strikes. Data can be lost due to many different reasons.
Small business phone system is I guess we're having some technical difficulties, Ben. I don't know if you can hear, but go ahead and continue on.
Obviously, sorry folks for that. Hopefully our automation systems will get back in a moment. But yeah, so moment of silence for, I don't know, the Pope being in New York today, something or other. So welcome back to the Computer America Show, 33 minutes past the hour, and we have Nate Evans here from Popzara. He's the managing editor, and we are, and I think at this point, we could probably talk about Nintendo for shows upon shows. But suffice to say that they have a new game out. It's very, very popular, except if you listen to that one reviewer who says, how dare they think that the people know how to play a game? How dare they?
Off with his head.
Exactly. But other than that, though, any closing arguments before we move on to, I don't know, probably Netflix?
Yeah.
Closing? I think you're right. We could talk about Nintendo forever. So let's save the listeners our nerdisms for next time.
Okay.
All right.
Before we get started, I just want to do one little test. Just tell me if you hear the car horn. No, you can't hear
Nope.
it.
I can hear it.
You can't, but it's way in the background. It's not coming through the system, so.
Oh, I thought that was the Pope.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's not the Popemobile coming through Computer America. But we're going to continue on here, and I saw the story today. I will admit I have no idea what Black Mirror is, but people seem... Yeah, off with my head, too. People are just going to be losing their heads today. People are excited about Black Mirror for some reason, and Netflix has, I believe, has ordered 12 new episodes of the series. So, what is Black Mirror?
Well, I don't know why anybody would want to be excited about seeing more episodes of the greatest sci-fi show on TV. A very mature, adult, R-rated take on the proclivities of encroachment of technology in our lives in a way to ruin us. I mean, why would you want to see that? I want to see more Justin Bieber. No.
Yeah.
Black Mirror, we've talked about it on Computer America before. Maybe not with you, though. Maybe with Charles. Black Mirror is one of the best shows in recent memory on television. It was a BBC show produced by, I forget the guy's name, but he's a very good guy. And it is basically an hour-long anthology series. Every episode is independent. It's R-rated, and it's also it's mired in sort of dark, dreary, I don't want to say the Matrix-style technophobia, but in a few years ahead of us. For example, without getting too graphic, the very first episode has the Prime Minister of England, his daughter kidnapped, or one of his relatives kidnapped, said, we're going to cut her up and kill her if the Prime Minister doesn't copulate with a pig on TV. And you say to yourself, well, that's silly, but it's so good. And you have episodes where cartoon characters get elected to government, reality show trauma, virtual reality, augmented reality. There was a really good episode that came, a new episode that came out for Christmas, because this being the BBC, they produced Christmas, starring John Hamm from Mad Men, where he played sort of a facilitator to this technology that allowed people to create virtual clones of themselves and use them as a personal Siri.
Really?
It's disturbing. It's a disturbing show. It's available on Netflix now, but it's fascinating. It's like The Outer Limits on steroids. And if you like things like Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt, Twilight Zone, things like that, anthology series that are really, really well done, Black Mirror is the best show on TV for that sort of thing. In fact, it's the best show in about 30 years.
All right, gentlemen, I just got to take a quick test. Tell me if you hear the car horn now. Did you hear that?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
No. Okay. All right.
and I believe the writer, he seems to be getting all the credit online, is Charlie Brooker.
Yes, that's him.
All right.
And but yes, so if you haven't seen it, then you have some homework to do. You have Netflix and pop it on. And the fact that Netflix would snag the show is no real surprise. Their choices of which shows to sort of resurrect have been very good. And
Right.
yes, I strongly recommend anybody who hasn't seen it watch Black Mirror.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, it's I will be.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that car horn?
Do it one more time. Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. Sorry, we just had a little technical on the show technical adjustments. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Well, anyways, I will be sure to catch Black Mirror. It's, as I said, available on Netflix, and they do a really good job of choosing which episode or which series. Like, I think more so than Fox or any other mainstream cable station or whatever, like they pick up old series that have been discontinued, get the cast back together, and make new episodes. And then they also have Orange is the New Black and House of Cards and things like that, where they also create very good series on their own. So Netflix is totally worth the money at this point still.
They've never really raised the price for the most part. And although I will say one thing: the sign of the apocalypse, because I don't know if you know this or not, but September 23rd, just a few days ago, was supposed to be the end of the world, because numerology is such a science, right? Yeah. Clearly the Pope was in New York. You had all that destruction in Mecca and all this stuff. You think, oh, the end times. No, the end times is actually on Netflix. It's called Fuller House. They're bringing back Full House.
What?
One of the worst shows in history. One of the mocked garbage, horrible shit. The kind of show we all collectively just wake up from and say never again. Netflix has decided to revive it with the original cast members, and so I'm going to hold my tongue on saying Netflix is amazing until we see what's going on here.
See, and, I kind of walked into Full House when I was 7 or 8 years old, and I was like, oh, this is a nice, happy, campy show.
You had a crush on Michelle.
And then I don't know, probably. And then like I saw Bob Saget's stand up, and I was like, who let this person near children? Why?
Bob Saget, see, there's a show on Netflix. This is what's interesting. There's a show on Netflix called BoJack Horseman.
Yes.
And the premise is that it's mocking shows like Full House, and the fact that Netflix would take a show that mocks itself and then go back and resurrect the source material. First of all, and Bob Saget is a really funny guy who happened to be stuck in two of the worst abominations on TV, Full House and America's Funny. You can see a man, see his spirit just leave his body, and then you watch him after that. He spent the last 20-something years escaping that.
Right.
To go back, this show better be tongue in cheek. There better be a drug component.
Right. Yeah, it's a Fuller House. I'll be sure to keep an eye out for that too. But the Black Mirror.
Fuller something. Yeah.
Yeah, and the 12 new episodes of Black Mirror, have they set a release date, or are they available now?
No, I think it's just a production.
Okay, so they're like, hey, we picked this up. Okay.
We will see soon.
All right. Yeah. So. So that's a little bit of Netflix. So we got games, we got television. Well, you know what? Let's throw Craig a bone here, since he's feeling so left out of the conversation. Apple.
It's not that I haven't been doing something here. It's just trying to make sure everything is.
He's trying to order a pizza.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But
For Friday night.
Apple has a new phone that
No way.
I am
Really?
desperately waiting to get. Yes.
I've never heard of this. What is this phone called?
It's called the super duper awesome, better than every other Android phone out there phone.
I feel ashamed of our conversation because you mentioned Apple will be on the show, and then if you go ahead and put the Popzara website on there and flick through the little scroller, you'll see a certain familiar face.
Steve Jobs.
Oh, look at that.
Yes, right.
One of two Steve Jobs movies that's coming out this year.
Another
Look,
one? It was already...
I get it. Steve Jobs was very influential in technology and that kind of thing, and he has a lot of great business points and stuff like that. Why do we need six different movies about his life?
Because why does the New Testament of the Bible have 4 different gospels? It's because you preach the same message 4 different ways for 4 different crowds. And this particular Steve Jobs movie is made by someone named Gibney, who of course is a sort of provocateur documentarian who has most recently created the Scientology documentary on HBO. He's also done the Enron documentary and whatnot. This is a takedown of Steve Jobs. This is a hit piece. From all accounts, Gibney is a socialist. And the idea that a corporate giant like Apple could be so successful just doesn't stand well with him. And there really are two. Steve Jobs is such a fascinating character. There should be courses taught on him, because not so much on him, but what his persona does to people. It divides them. Mm-hmm. It creates frothing lunatics. It's like saying George Bush or Sarah Palin to a Democrat, or Obama to a Republican. It just blows you out of the water how divisive it can be, and it just logic goes out the window like Craig's car horn, and it's just you don't understand anything anymore, because either Steve Jobs is a genius or he's a megalomaniac. Either he's someone who's an inventor or he steals everything. There's no room for nuance with these people. In reality, it's everything. It's all of it. And you have a character that would have been the subject of a James Joyce novel, whose whose entire persona is just built on this mythological creation. But hello?
Right.
Okay. But anyway, this is a hit piece, and the movie coming out next, who knows what it's going to be, but it's going to be by, what's the director's name? Danny Boyle, and it's going to be written by one of Jobs' own friend based on the Walter Isaacson book. And I forget, if movie buffs are going to just take away my movie card because I forgot the guy's name.
Wait, are you saying that when we say a hit piece, in other words, it's the first one with Ashton Kutcher, which I saw. And
First one.
Yeah, the first one. Now this one that's coming up, this has
You're talking about Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender. Yes.
This particular one on the site is a documentary that just came out.
Ah.
Ironically, available on iTunes. So they, so there's so many of them, and so we're going to have a review of the Steve Jobs film coming out, which I hear is pretty good. I can't imagine it's going to be as negative or pessimistic as the documentary, but to each his own. Everyone can have their own custom iPhone, and everyone can have their own custom Steve Jobs movie. It's just really kind of sad, but in some way, okay.
Are you saying that all the movies should have been basically the same as far as
No.
The story happened the way it happened. The reporting on it, but the stories are different from these different movies, the different perspectives. You're saying.
There is an old expression that says you can tell how successful you are by the arrows in your back. And for my money, the best Steve Jobs movie is the one that came out in the 90s called, it was the one about Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. It was, what was it called? It was Pirates of Silicon Valley. And it was created on TNT, and it had Noah Wyle, and it had the guy from The Dark Side. I forget his name, but he was a kid actor. And it was fantastic, and it was well balanced, and it had Joe DiMaggio, aka Bender, playing Steve Ballmer. And if you can find a copy of it, I recommend watching it. It's about as even-keeled as you can get. And of course, that film came out before Steve Jobs came back to Apple and changed the world. Blah blah blah.
Was that Anthony Michael Hall played?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. He played.
It's still, for my money, I haven't seen the new Jobs film, but it's still the best cinematic version yet.
Really? I saw that on PBS. I think I was watching it. They had it or something.
It's very well done. It's extremely entertaining. It breaks the fourth wall. Jobs was a a-hole. He was.
Well, of all the movies that you're saying, which one do you think is the most accurate?
I think all of them are. I think one man's trash is another man's treasure. You look at someone who is creative, and there's sort of a high autistic ratio of antisocial behavior that goes along with these people, and you have someone who's so damn creative, they appear as buttholes to everyone else around them. But everyone says, oh, Jobs is so hard to work with. He's so hard to work with. Then why do the best people want to work with him? Maybe the problem isn't that people can't work with him. Maybe the problem is that you can't work with him. Maybe you're not the best. You have a guy who helped create the personal computer by realizing technology from Xerox. You have a guy who was fired from his own company, went and bought Pixar from George Lucas. George Lucas says, oh, there's no future in computer graphics. Okay, Steve Jobs transformed Pixar, created Next, helped create the home computer again with the iMac, helped the iPod, helped the iPhone, helped the tablet. It's funny, for a guy that didn't do anything special, he sure does a lot of special things. But he's manure, and manure is necessary. Manure is stinky, and manure stinks, and no one wants to be around it, but you need it. And so ultimately, I think here's a flawed person who a lot of people have evangelicized, and for better or for worse, that attracts a lot of emotion. And I think that's what happens with controversial figures. That's what happens with history. History is not clean. You have the founding fathers of the United States who were slave owners. It turns out Martin Luther King Jr. was an adulterer. History is not clean. History is messy. And I don't see the value in actively destroying somebody's without presenting the net benefits, because it's interesting, Ben. We live in a culture that wants everything to be nice and clean. We want everything to be vivisected and everything to be separate and squeaky clean, and our heroes have to be perfect. But that's not the case.
Right.
And the smarter you are as a human being, the more you realize is that you take your medicine with the vegetables. I mean, there's an expression, I don't know what it is, I just sort of made it up. But the fact is that history is like this. History is a messy thing, and all the better for it.
But I guess I think people were looking for he was missing certain social graces that people would come to expect, and he would have I guess people would find offensive. He couldn't be polite.
Like when you sneeze, he wouldn't say bless you. Yeah.
He wouldn't do those things, and at the same time, when he wanted to get something done, it had to be done his way, and it turned out that was the right way. But he couldn't in order to get people to do it, or to do what he said or what he meant. A lot of people got either fired or just couldn't work with him.
Yeah, it's that's the reality of being part of history. I mean, not everybody is up to it. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would do it. I mean, you know what's easy? Playing the lottery. Go to the store, buy some tickets. You can do that. I can do that. Your dog can do that. Reinvent the entire spectrum of how people communicate on mobile devices. Not everybody can do it. BlackBerry was doing it before. You've talked to the BlackBerry guy. You know what I'm talking about. BlackBerry had the infrastructure. BlackBerry had the phone. BlackBerry had this. Why did they miss it? Because they couldn't do it.
Right.
Why is it that Steve Jobs could do it? Why is it that Steve Jobs could help reinvent the computer? Why is it that under Steve Jobs they could do the phone or the tablet or Pixar or all this crap? It's because he was a butthole. And sometimes buttholes are necessary to get things done. I don't care that he was mean to his daughter. I don't know her. That's between him and his daughter. I don't care that he was mean to his coworkers. I care that the fact that I have an iPod Touch that helps me get a lot of stuff done. And nobody else could seem to do that. I'm glad that I have Pixar movies. I love Toy Story. Thank you, Steve Jobs, for being a butthole. We need more like you.
I feel like there is a very apt whole spiel in. Have you ever seen Team America World Police? I think it is.
Oh yes.
Yes, and there's a whole homeless man who gives a big speech, and it's
yes. You're talking about the George Clooney speech.
Am I? Yes. Where he kind of gives us all. We can't say it on the air because it's very vulgar, but it applies here, in a very concise way. But I remember when seeing like some of the first Steve Jobs movies come out and documentaries and whatever you want to call them at that point. Like I went online and I saw the comments that people were leaving, and the internet. I don't know if you noticed or not. Just the places I go, people are not a fan of Steve Jobs, and they were railing against him. Like they were saying how awful of a person he was. But like I think as a person, you kind of have to everything you guys have just been saying for the past 5 minutes. People are people. It's not about. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter if you hate him or not. Steve Jobs didn't care, wasn't going to care, and he got stuff done. Like,
yes.
he can be kind of a bad person to work with, but hey, he made the iPhone.
The two expressions that I like to recall, and I think we're Jobsed out, is that the first thing they do is train you when you're a doctoress and not be squeamish about blood. I'm sure your doctor cares about you. I'm sure your doctor hopes for the best of you, but you don't want your doctor being sort of theatrically emotional.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. No, I want my doctor to be calm, cool, and collected. And if I'm watching if I'm not a patient, I don't know what he's doing, man, that man is cold. Look at him. He should be more emotional. No, I want him to be cold as hell because I don't want him cutting the wrong vein. And the other one is the architect and the structural engineer. They're on site, and he's the guy telling everyone, no, you're doing it wrong. No, you're doing it wrong. That bridge is you need to do this. And all his workers are like, damn, this guy's a butthole. Look at this guy. He won't shut up. He's a butthole. He is so negative. He is so cynical. I wish he'd go home and eat a pizza because it's Friday. No, that man doesn't want that bridge to collapse because he has the safety of all the people that come over it. And you see what happens when you don't have buttholes. You have Hurricane Katrina with the levees. You have bridges that fall. You have structural damage because there's no butthole on there making sure that all the people do their job right. I don't want them to be nice. I want him. That's the price you pay for excellence. Butthole. Put that on my tombstone. So
you wish it could be that way. Why can't somebody look? You have to do it this way, and instead of people bristling, just say, oh, he's right. We need to do it this way. This is the guy in charge, and just do it.
Because the people who take the orders, they're people too, and they don't like him, and they have feelings, emotions, thoughts, and what they think should be done too. They're people too.
Sure, but maybe they're in the wrong business. I mean,
right.
The fact is that if you're in the military, you don't want emotional people. Not everybody's a leader. There has to, squadrons have commanders and all this. And you look at Android before the iPhone. You take a look at it. It looks like a BlackBerry. It's got the trackball. Everybody's got a trackball. You look at computers, and it's all riddled with this. And I've read the Walter Isaacson book. It's a great book. It's one of his best. And I've read a lot of testimonials. And as a manager of people, and Craig, I'm sure you've experienced this, you're always going to find someone who says, I can't do that. I can't do this, or it's too hard, or this or that. It's your job to whip them into shape, and it's not easy. And the higher you go, the higher the bar for excellence. If you want something easy, go to McDonald's. You press a button, you get a paycheck. You didn't go to college, that you failed. But if you want to work at a big monolithic company that's going to change the world, then you better get some thicker skin, and get some Prozac, become an alcoholic, whatever it takes to get you through. The world is not perfect. Half of the best we idolize writers like Ernest Hemingway. We idolize Bertrand Stroud. We idolize these people. They're all psychologically crazy. Most of them killed themselves. Oh, I love Vincent van Gogh. He's so great. He cut off his ear. He killed himself. These people are crazy. They do whatever it takes so you can enjoy it. So you can enjoy your iPhone and say, I hate Steve Jobs, as you're IMing someone and downloading Angry Birds. This guy admits it in the documentary. He's a hypocrite. He's chastising this man while he's on his iPhone, creating this movie on his MacBook, uploading it to iTunes.
Yes.
You don't like it, go make your own distribution network. But the fact is that you balance it. You can be a butthole. You can put that in perspective. You can say, oh, this man is terrible because he didn't take care of his daughter. The fact of the matter is that we all bring agendas to this, and we all say, I'm going to pick and choose what I like about this individual or not. And if I like this individual, then I'll brush it under the table, like Bill Clinton. And if I don't like this individual, then I'm going to bring it to the forefront, like Steve Jobs. I get it. I completely get it. You got to sell a movie, but at least be an honest hypocrite.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right.
So, but anyway, Michael Fassbender movie does look pretty good, even though he doesn't look a damn thing like Steve Jobs. So.
Well, yeah, obviously they can't. I mean, Ashton Kutcher, they got him looking a little bit like him, but but I guess that's the risk that you run when you do a biography about a contemporary figure where most everybody knows what he looks like. Then you run that risk, and it just you have to suspend the disbelief.
Well. He is a great actor, and the director is a great director. And by the way, it's Aaron Sorkin who's writing it.
Yeah.
And look up Aaron Sorkin, and you'll be immediately more impressed than you were 2 minutes ago. And that's it should be cinematically a good time. The last time these people worked on something, in this was The Social Network, and it should be good.
Okay, well, let's move on. We can kind of start things. We're getting close to the top of the hour, and obviously, the iPhone 6s sales begins today?
Australia, I think. In Australia, I think it began. I think it's spreading out throughout the world like a virus.
The 6s and the 6s
See, this is why I keep friends in Australia, because they'll be the first to know if the apocalypse happens.
Exactly.
Well.
So, but it obviously we talked about some of the new features. I think one of the coolest features of it is the fact that it's pressure sensitive. So, and iOS 9 takes advantage of that, and so you can push down and you get additional information.
You get a right click.
Sort of right click there, but in other words, you see what happens under your finger. You push it down and it pops up. Some nice features of iOS 9 and the 6s. So the 6s becomes available today. I'm not, obviously not going to be enough to go around. I'm sure eventually there will be, if you had to be bleeding edge and be. But hey, they're out there.
Hey Ben, what phone do you have?
Funny story.
Did it fall in the toilet again?
Close.
Close.
I left it out in the rain.
Oh, that's what he says.
Oh, he did. This
Nice
time
yellow rain.
Yeah, no, he left it. The first time, no, he left it out in the rain, and it it happens.
I mean, I have it right here. It's just completely.
What
dead.
phone is that?
This is the old 5S.
It's the 5S.
Oh, 5. Okay, then you don't back up my theory then. Sorry.
What's that?
I have some people believe me because of my position. They think, oh, I'll ask Nathan everything about iPhone. He'll tell me everything. And I've had about 6 people who are not iPhone users that have been steadfast anti-Apple people come to me and say, what do you think of the iPhone 6S? I said, why? They said, well, I'm thinking about getting it. And I have people with Galaxy 4s. I got a couple people on the staff who are doing this who come HTC One. I had one. I have to be careful because Android phones have really funny names. There's one called OnePlus One, and they're switching over to the iPhone 6S. And I've never seen such a migration for Android, my Android people that I know. And I thought you were one of them when you said you were going to get it.
Oh, no. But I definitely do want it. But maybe because Apple has taken some design influences from Android, the bigger form factor and all that kind of stuff. It's more Android than ever.
He wants the 6S Plus. He wants the larger.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as opposed to 6. I'm going to get the 6S.
Only because they don't make a 6S Plus Plus that's the size of a 11-inch MacBook that you carry around.
They'll merge the iPad in it.
Try fitting that into your pocket. Hey, listen, we're at the top of the hour, and we're going to take a break. And I think everybody hears the music now. All right, so you're listening to the Computer America Show. Ben and I have Nathan Evans here. We're talking about all things technology, movies. We're going to continue on talking about the iPhone 6S sales worldwide. And we have lots of other stories coming up, too. A show reminder of the week coming up as well. And a social media winner, too. We're going to be right back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Okay, and we continue on with Nathan Evans here, our managing editor for Popzara magazine. And we're continuing on our Friday show. We got about a half hour from now. We'll call it a social media winner of the week. And so, where did we leave off? Nathan, we're just starting to introduce the Apple iPhone 6s sales worldwide, starting in Australia. It is available here in the United States too. A lot of people pre-ordered the phone. It's available now. I think they're saying that the most difficult one to get is the rose gold because I guess that's the newest one. I think the recommendation is don't go with the 16 gig. You need to get a little more memory now with it.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, it depends on what you do. I mean, if you're only twittering and everything, then maybe you don't need any more than 16. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing, and again, when the 6 came out, I was bitterly disappointed. Ben kind of poo-poos it, and because he doesn't use it. But I like the little dock that came with all the preceding iPhones. You could stand the phone in the dock; it would angle back slightly at about a 50-degree angle, and it was great because you put it on your nightstand, you looked at it, you could see it. It didn't have to. Apple, when the iPhone 6 came out, the form factor, they did not make a dock for it. And I was hoping for the success that they would finally come out with it. Nope, no dock there either.
It's so heavy that you don't want to wake up in the middle of the night, wonder what time it is, and inadvertently pull a muscle lifting your heavy iPhone off of your nightstand at the time.
That's not it at all. The thing is, when it's standing up, it's like a clock. You can see it. You don't want to reach over. Or it might be if the nightstand is further away. You just, the point is you just look.
You could fall out of bed checking the time. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, there's a term that people use. It's civilization creep, and what it basically entails is that Apple doesn't have to spend a lot of money advertising because a lot of people do the advertising for them. And one of the big reasons for the iPhone success has been just the massive support they have through third-party vendors for cases, accessories, and all this. I mean, there are companies named whatever, just that make pretty much just make Apple stuff. And remember when you bought the original iPod, it came with all these goodies, came with stands, came with everything. And over the years, Apple has done sort of feature removal. And that way, things they used to give you, they don't give you anymore. So you can go out and buy it from somebody else. So when a company spends millions of dollars to make iPhone accessories, that's free advertising for Apple. And especially since you go to the store and the only accessories you can get are Apple related, well, you got to have an Apple phone. It works symbolically perfect together for them as a company. So if you buy an Android phone, you're out of luck. If you buy a BlackBerry, well, I don't know why you're doing that, but if you buy a BlackBerry phone, you can't use any of these. You can't use any of these cool accessories. So you got to buy the iHome dock, or whatever. And so, Craig, you could always go buy 1,000,000 of these docks and get what you want. You have to spend more money, but you're not giving it to Apple. You're giving it to a third party. So therefore, Apple gets advertising. The company gets your money. The beast continues, and it continues its dominance. And yeah, and it's.
Now wait a minute. Now I'm looking at the Apple website, and there seems to be a dock. They have an iPhone Lightning dock in white, and I think that's a 6S phone that's in it now. I think they do make one now.
They probably make one.
Yeah, no, they didn't make it before, but it looks like now that they do make it. I'm looking at it right here. I think this is it. I need to bookmark this. Okay.
But I guess Nate's points still hold true. It's you've been
Look at that
complaining about
price.
it, and then you find
yeah, there you go. $50.
$39 for this dock. $39. That's what.
39. I thought it says 49.
No.
Well, yeah, there's one right here, the iPhone Lightning dock, silver, and I'm sure any other color for $49.
No, they have white. That's all I wanted was the white dock, and that's they always in white. And it looks like they do make one now for the iPhone 6.
Okay.
All right, good. They don't.
Oh, well, actually, real quick, because this caused a little bit of a kerfuffle. What do you think of the new iPad? First of all, they have a new iPad, and what do you think of Apple saying never a stylus? No one ever needs it. Use a finger. What are you doing? Get out of here, stylus. And then they said, but we have this Apple Pencil, and it's pretty amazing.
Well, you remember Steve Jobs, when he was first introducing the iPhone in his keynote, he says, and he was getting ready to talk about multi-touch. He says, so how do you control it? He says, a stylus. And he went, no. He says, who needs a stylus? Like, yuck. He actually did that. Yuck. I know. He won't even use a finger. So he was very opposed to a stylus way back then, right from his first keynote.
True.
Yeah.
But he's been dead for 4 years, and this is a different Apple. I don't think there's any contradiction in a company changing its focus into acknowledging things. I think now if I were on Fox News or CNN, this is where I would say, well, in my podcast, as I state, to get you to as a lead-in over there. No, but here it's very simple. It's a very simple thing. So what? Apple's copying. They've always done this. In fact, to quote Steve Jobs, he says, good artists borrow, great artists steal. The fact is they didn't invent the stylus, they didn't invent the tablet, they didn't invent the touchscreen. What they did is they popularized it. At the time, the most popular touchscreen device when the iPhone came out was the Nintendo DS. I argue that's the thing that actually helped turn more people onto touchscreen devices than anything else. It sold 100 million units, and so when I look at this, by the way, all the other phones around there had little diddy bop 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 styluses and ugly trackpads, horrible crap. But so when going back to this, Charles and I had talked about this on my podcast. No, we talked about this. It's interesting that Apple had Microsoft there. We were kind of noticing it, like, why is Microsoft a gift? Why could you watch this? This is the first Apple show you could watch on a PC. This is it. This is the first ever. And why? Because Microsoft was a featured presenter. And because when they showed off Word for the iPad, which has been out, they showed it using it because the new iPad Pro looks a lot like a Surface. It's got the same basic keyboard, the stylus, and of course they showed Microsoft. And everybody missed it because of that anti-Steve Jobs hatred that we talked about. Oh, Steve Jobs said this, Steve Jobs said this. Okay, Steve Jobs, during his life, contradicted himself every day. The man was so why do you think he'd stop contradicting him after he died? That's how forward-thinking Apple was. He projected contradictions after death. So, no, so here they are talking about iPad Pro, which looks like a giant baby with a big pencil stylus, using stuff that you could do on Microsoft Surface 2 years ago. But you know what? It's Apple, so now it's amazing and great and genius and awe-inspiring. No, it's an evolution of the product. And if it works well, it works well. And of course, with that new Apple stylus comes a new Apple price. It's $100. You know, I will tell you this: we have graphic artists on the staff, and a lot of them will say, "Oh, we're not interested in this." That pencil is pretty interesting because what it does, it enables touch sensitivity on a non-touch pad. And this is what's interesting, guys, because you're thinking about the iPhone 6s. That 6s has the Apple feature called Force Touch. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you like Star Wars powers, but it allows for pressure sensitivity on a touchscreen, which the Apple Watch has. But this iPad doesn't have it. Think it's a missed opportunity, but don't worry, there'll be a version 2, so you can rebuy what you just bought over again. That's the Apple way. So, but as far as contradictions go, no, I think you can't just look forward. You have to look backward too, and you could see that Steve Jobs, he made a lot of he contradicted himself a lot on things when he was alive. So Apple has a stylus now. Like you said, Ben, their phones are becoming a lot more Android-like. All turnabout's fair play, isn't it? Because Android phones have certainly been Apple-like for the last couple of years. So there we go. I'm not going to buy it, but I know a lot of people are.
No, I think you're right. It's by the way, I'm just ingratiated that they do that document. By the way, I'm looking at, I just found out, is it works with the 6 and the 6S, but it also works with the 5 and the 5S too. It actually goes back to some of the earlier phones. So what happened is
well, that's because it's Lightning, so obviously.
No, the Apple the one that I have now worked for the 5S was only for the 5 and the 5S because it had an indentation into which the phone sit. Now the Lightning adapter is actually at level, and so basically the phone sits at the level surface of the dock, and so because of that, it works with back to the 5S, and the 5 and the 5S works with it as well.
So Craig, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is this going to change your life?
Every day I wake up. I'm gonna see if I'll be able to.
All right then.
So you're going to be buying the rose gold iPhone then?
I've been asking myself that over and over again, and I think I am. I really do.
Really? You and everybody else I know is getting that pink color. I'm sorry, rose gold color or fuchsia.
Maybe I should just go. I just go to the gold because my 5S right now is the gold. It's the champagne gold.
Champagne.
Yeah.
I have a new iPod Touch, the one that just came out this year. And I forget, it's Earl Grey, or I forget what it's called. They can't just use normal colors. They have to reinvent color names.
Yeah, space gray. Yeah.
Space gray. My other one, you can't see it, but my iPod Touch 5, which is this, it's the red one. So apparently some of my money's either going to Bono or AIDS research. But I said, "Do you want red in the new one?" I said, "No, I'm done. I've done my moral self-licensing. I've given." But no, it's interesting. Almost all my friends are getting the rose gold.
Well, what is that? What is that? Because it's like a pinkish color, but
It's pink. I mean, that's pretty much what it is. A little splash of pink.
It's metallic, and it's got a little whiteboard. I'll probably get the gold color because I have the gold now with my iPhone 5S.
Well, rose gold was supposed to be their catch for women. iPhones are very masculine, very clean metallic lines, and they're like, oh, introduce some rose gold, and women will just buy it. And they might, but
Apple, the highest paid person at Apple is not Tim Cook. It's one of their new female hires who came from the fashion world, and a lot of people have questioned Apple's transition to a fashion company for a long time. And if you watch the last presentation, you see some evidence of this. They showed off the Apple TV. They showed, very stereotypically, they showed shopping for women and everything. And of course, they showed guys doing sports scores. And there's some evidence to suggest that Apple is transitioning from computer company to sort of accessory company for fashion. Mm-hmm. And that's accurate. I mean, women make up the largest buying segment. And not to belabor a point, and I'm sorry, all you feminists, but most women like to shop. It's a fact. And there are callbacks to this. And if you watch that movie, The Devil Wears Prada, there's a great scene with Meryl Streep talking to Anne Hathaway, and she explains this. This is a fact. This is a scientific way to pinpoint your sales with precision to the female audience, who make up the vast majority of buying. They also make up the vast majority of voters. So Donald Trump, you better do something with that hair. And Carly, learn to smile. So, but as far as that goes, it's, yeah, expect to see a lot more femininity imposed on your Apple products. So there you go.
See, and I'm kind of okay with that because honestly, lately Apple hasn't really innovated. You know, like you said, they've been borrowing from Microsoft, from Android. You know, they've been doing this and that just to kind of, you know, playing a little bit of catch up there. So I guess what kind of sets them apart nowadays is, you know, of course, the Apple brand name and the look of it, the look and feel, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, let me ask you a question. I hear this argument a lot, and no one ever gets called on it. Let me ask you a question. Let's play a Socratic game here with you. What do you think innovation means?
I think the original iPhone, where buttonless, featureless, all that kind of thing, where BlackBerry was the dominant phone, and then the original iPhone came out, that was innovative. That was...
Not what you think they made as innovative, but what do you think innovation is? If you had to define innovation as a thing.
I think you can set up postmarks by products throughout past couple years that are, you know, that was innovative. And are you kind of asking me, you know, what would be innovative now in terms of phone, or what is innovation?
By which guideline would you say innovation is measured by? Not so much like innovation would be, here's a piece of toast, I put butter on it, I innovated toast. Oh, now I'm putting jam. I innovated jam. We could just change the colors of something and call that innovation because it's technically new. But what do you consider innovation as in regards to technology? What would you consider something to be innovative as?
Something to be innovative as a new standard, something that everyone kind of says, okay, we have to find a way to compete with that, adopt that, change that, just a new standard of some piece of technology, be it input, be it memory, like just something new that everyone has to react to or adopt.
Correct. A lot of people use the word disruptive. The idea is that in marketing and blah 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 terms, disruptive is the idea is here's what was before, here's disruptive. Everyone's pivoting this way, and it's really hard to gauge what innovation is in any product or any product cycle. Forward thinking, you have to look at it sort of from the rear and say, okay, this is where things change, like a Doc Brown, blackboard. But I would argue that Apple's innovation is by not innovating. I would argue that if somebody were to grill me on the subject, I would say, well, sure, the new iPhone looks a lot like such, but you've also seen sort of a recession. There's an argument that Android phones and OEM manufacturers have lost so much money that in order to make money, they've sort of adopting elements of the iPhone. For example, Samsung getting rid of external memory and external batteries. You have other companies just sort of cleaving off features in order to be able to compete with the iPhone. And the iPhone has never had those things. And I look at what they're going forward, and Craig talks about a dock that has compatibility with 3 generations.
Right.
You can't say that with any Android phone. You can't look at a Google Play market and say we're maturing an online store that has a backwards compatibility going back 7 generations. iOS 9 just came out, and within one day 50% of all iOS devices had it. Lollipop, which is the newest Android flavor, is on less than 10% of all Android devices, and in one day Apple updates 50% of all phones. That's amazing. No other computer has ever had that type of adoption rate, and with it comes new features depending on your SKU, new elements, new security features, all this. The fact that I'm able to download an app that I downloaded in 1997 or 1998 on my old iPod Touch 2, my new iPod Touch 6, is incredible. You can't do that anywhere else because the fragmentation has been so structured in such a way that for example, when Apple comes out with Apple TV, and I am being a little holistic about this, app developer, it's baked into the operating system so well that all they have to do is flick a button on the Xcode, and boom, your iPhone game is now available on a TV. Now, and we've talked about this before on some of the Popzara podcasts, and I've been at E3 before, and I've made a yeoman's work of trying to be objective about this, but I can't be objective anymore. Apple does this better than anybody else. I made a beeline for every Android manufacturer, every single one of them. I talked to I didn't play Metal Gear. I didn't play anything. I only looked at Android consoles. I went to Mad Catz. I went to Game Stick. I went to them all, and I said, "Sell me on this." Oh, we're going to do this and this. Every one of those things represented a further fragmentation of Android. No one had a clear idea. There's no leadership. When Apple TV comes out, it's going to have all those advantages because Apple's kept the board sort of thing. I would say being able to take this operating system and have 100% backwards compatibility throughout 8 years of product cycles, Windows doesn't even have that. And I think that's pretty interesting. Considering this is the company that through iTunes convinced people that buying things instead of bootlegging them digitally was viable. And I do want to transition at some point because on my list I talked about this. But there's a new music album that came out today by one of my favorite bands called New Order. And for the first time in my life, I cannot buy that on CD. I don't have a CD player in my house. I noticed I don't have a single CD player in my house. I can't play it on CD. So I'm going to buy an album digitally for the first time.
When did that occur to you that you didn't have a CD player in your home?
Today. I mean, it's been in the back of my mind. I'm like, when I got my new MacBook, there went my last CD player on my old laptop. I don't have a CD player anywhere. And then I said to myself, I don't have any CDs. I got rid of them all because I buy everything digitally now. I have apps on my iPhone. I have no problem plugging down $4 for an app if I really like it. Why? Because Apple made it safe. Every other day there's news about malware in the Android market. What about all those fools who bought BlackBerry stuff? When the new BlackBerry phone comes out, congratulations, you can't use them. You have an Xbox One? You have a PlayStation 4?
He's got an Xbox One, yeah.
You have an Xbox One?
Yeah.
Okay. Now Microsoft may be fixing a little bit of this, but how many of those Xbox games that you bought on a 360 can you play on the one? Or how many Xbox Live Arcade games that you purchased on Xbox 60? That console is really powerful. You should be able to download it. You can't. I can download crap that I bought 7 years ago on my new iPod. How come Apple can do it? How come nobody else can do that? How come nobody else has figured this out? Nobody. I would call that innovative. The idea is that you're so relaxed with buying things digitally, you don't even have to think about it until you do. Like you hit that wall and you say, why is this the case? Why can my PlayStation 4, which can render human beings pimples, not play a game that I purchased last year on a PS3? Why can't it? Because they don't want you to. Because they want you to rebuy it again. Yet I just updated Scribblenauts, a game that I purchased in 2009. They're still updating it. I spent $1 on that game. They're still updating it. That's pretty innovative. It's because the strict guidelines were set forth. The path of evolution was decided. And we've heard this argument about Apple time and time again. Closed garden, they're so restrictive, blah, blah, blah. Well, congratulations. Your Android store is filled with Chinese porn and malware. The Apple store is filled with stuff that has changed the world.
That's why we like it.
It's true. It's good until you're trying enterprise. But no, I'm not evangelicizing Apple as an entity. I'm evangelicizing the fact they've done a better job with this. And all those Android consoles, the Ouya, the Game Stick, the Mojo, the Snakebite, the Ouya, whatever they want to call, they all failed miserably, fantastically so, because they had no vision, and they were run by bupkises. Sorry, but you're terrible, all of you. So you go back to Apple. That Apple TV is gonna boggle your mind.
Well, yeah, I mean, what did you think of I saw the Apple TV. Last time when Steve Jobs was alive, he was talking about. He said, "I think we got it right this time," and of course, he still hadn't. But this new one, I really do think that they got it right. I mean, that remote with the way that it works with the voice integration with Siri.
Well, to be fair to Ben's point, it's basically these are features we've seen before. The Amazon Fire TV has basically done all this stuff before. In fact, the Fire TV just announced a new update that will do 4K, and everybody and the usual Apple hubbub comes out and says, "Oh, look at this new Apple TV. It's $150. Oh, it doesn't do 4K." You don't have a 4K monitor. There's no 4K content. What are you complaining about? This is the usual feature. Like, oh, the iPhone doesn't have NFC. Nobody uses it, And when Apple got into the NFC ballgame, they were able to bring forth with them, Ben, this gigantic unified user base. And guess what? McDonald's has NFC now. This is what happens.
You're talking about Apple Wallet.
No, I'm talking about Apple.
Your communication.
iOS.
Apple Pay. You said Apple Pay.
Apple Pay, not Apple
NFC's
Pay.
NFC's been part of Android phones from the beginning. But you know what? It was just a feature checklist. Hey, let's just put NFC because we want to put everything in the kitchen sink and it'll work. Apple said no NFC. Just like Steve Jobs said no stylus. No NFC, no NFC, no NFC. Okay, guess what? NFC's ready. And they didn't just release it on the phone. Behind the scenes, they partnered with about 1 million different resellers. Everybody started upgrading. Panera upgraded, McDonald's, everybody. And when the iPhone came out with NFC, you could use it.
You know, I think you just hit on what Apple does better than Android in a lot of areas. Apple may not have, every new feature first. They may not have every new technology first. But I think you're right where Apple knows how to tell you, here's this feature, and here's how you're going to use it, and it's going to be amazing the way you can use it.
Usually, yes. Your new iPhone 6s has 4K recording. I think the way Apple structured that is very badly. I think you have 4K that you can't watch. You have a TV coming out that's not even 4K compatible. Your monitor at home is probably not 4K. In fact, the only Apple device that has K is the 5K iMac. So Apple, I think, just put 4K because the Sony phones have it. And I think that's a giant miscalculation that you have this feature that is worthless on your phone. You can't even watch it. You can't. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not very excited about 4K either because that's going to take up so much memory, and with no expandable memory, that's going to be a headache.
But you don't have to record in 4K.
Oh no.
No, but it just seems it's a superfluous feature that doesn't seem like Apple evolved it to the point where it's useful.
Right.
Just like 4K in general.
Well, what about live phone? Live pictures, live photo.
Oh, you mean the Harry Potter pictures?
You touch it.
Well, that's a good way to.
And
that's what I call them. Yeah.
You see like 10 seconds before the picture was taken, and like 10 seconds after, it's a live photo.
Yeah. It's the ultimate for narcissists, but you just it's like Harry Potter. You remember in Harry Potter they had the pictures that move? That's all it is. It's Harry Potter pictures. If I were a manufacturer, I would bring back all those old crappy digital photo frames that nobody wanted, repurpose them because now you could have a photo frame that's Harry Potter, and you could have it, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's a complete gimmick, but gimmicks are fun, aren't they? And but as far as that goes. I'm interested in Force Touch, because I said it before. It's just right click. They've enabled right click, and I think that's cool because I swipe through my iOS device and I'm always I screw this left right, and it's just crazy. I think it's going to be good. I can't use it, but I'm sure you guys can, and I'm sure you'll like it.
Yeah.
But no, I think managing a gigantic 500 million user base. Somehow navigating them through multiple hardware iterations, multiple generations, multiple upgrades, millions of apps, and somehow making it all kind of work is pretty damn impressive. And I think because someone's at the board, someone's there, and Steve Jobs may be dead, but clearly his legacy is there. And when we only notice it when it doesn't work, like electricity or running water. When we see Apple make a big mistake, like censoring Confederate flags in the App Store because no human, then that's a mistake. Because that's a violation of what we were told would happen. And when Apple does that, they usually get corrected. And again, I think we're going to continue to see them make more and more mistakes as they sort of bleed that out. I mean, you can only bring so many people to the party before somebody's not invited. So yeah, I'm as I say to people, Ben, it comes to this. Apple's not where they used to be, and I clearly think they're making a lot of mistakes. I think Apple Music, the implementation of Apple Music was a gigantic miscalculation, and my music app has never worked correctly. But even Apple at running at 80% is still better than most companies running at 100. And so until they screw up, until they completely foobar and screw everything up, they got my attention, and they've done a good job with it. They really have. I mean, it's changed. It literally has changed the world. I mean, we wouldn't have selfies without them. What would Kim Kardashian do? She'd have to work at McDonald's. So the poor girl needs to eat.
Yeah.
Well, probably needs to eat less.
So until Apple pulls a Volkswagen, they're going to be around for a little while longer.
Yes, it's funny you just mentioned that Volkswagen. But no, I think everybody is entitled to their own thing. And I know on my list I put down a new BlackBerry phone is coming out, and I'm not going to buy it, but I know one of your guests, Nelson Hoods, is probably going to buy it because he's a BlackBerry evangelist. Mm-hmm. But I think the phone is called the Priv, And I look at it, and it's already one of the most impressive Android phones I've ever seen, because BlackBerry is a better company than a lot of these companies that make Android phones. And they have something to prove. Wouldn't that be cool if a company with a legitimate reason for survival really used Android for what it's supposed to be used for? Clearly that would be kind of cool. And I don't want another Android phone that looks like an iPhone. We have an iPhone. We already have it. I want a cool BlackBerry phone. Look at that. That's a sexy phone. And it's got the pull-out keyboard. It's got stock Android. You can't see me, but I'm pointing. But it's also got Android apps and everything. It's also got this. That's a cool-looking phone. That's a nice-looking phone. And it's not an iPhone. It looks nothing like an iPhone. And that's cool.
I'm glad they brought back the sliding mechanism, because that was always fun.
Yeah, people love it. You know, isn't that cool to have choices? And you know, you can evangelize Apple all you want, but not everybody wants it or even needs it. I think this is going to be a fun phone to look at. I hope it lives up to its promise.
Right.
So it's not too late for BlackBerry, what you're saying? They continue to try new.
You know, I think if BlackBerry hadn't pivoted and hadn't opted into this, I think they'd be in the dustbin. But it's the mark of a good company to recognize market change and disruption before it comes, and to make those course corrections. And you know, people used to talk about Reed. I think it was Reed from Blockbuster, because I remember growing up and he was considered a hero. Look at him. He managed Blockbuster to be such a great thing. I grew up with him as a hero, and then the last couple of years I've grown up with him as a stooge, because he's steadfast, put his head like an ostrich, put his head in the sand, said, nope, we're not going to do it. Let Netflix do their thing. Fine. Netflix destroyed you. And by the time you finally realized the writing was on the wall, it was too late.
You really said that? You said that. Let Netflix do their thing. We're not going to do that?
Yeah, pretty much. He just let them go. He didn't recognize them for what they were, the threat they were. That they weren't, you know, and this is what happens. This is a Trojan horse. This could be a Trojan horse for Google.
All right, we got our social media winner of the week coming up. This is the Computer America Show. Nathan Evans, managing editor for Popzara, continues on with us. We're going to take a short break, and then we will be right back. Lots more topics here on a Friday edition of the Computer America Show. Stay with us. Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission of Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is to help build a sustainable, no-kill community where no dogs or cats are ever killed for population control, where true euthanasia is reserved only for animals who are irremediably suffering, or for animals who are truly a threat to society and with no hope of rehabilitation. Brother Wolf staff and volunteers go door to door, neighborhood by neighborhood, to educate citizens about local resources available for at-risk pets and to help their families connect with those resources. Brother Wolf's community-based approach to no-kill helps keep family pets healthy, happy, and in their homes and out of the local shelter system in the first place. For more information or to make a tax-deductible donation to this wonderful 501c3 organization, visit their website at www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
And make it 350 for 25 minutes. Oh, hi, it's Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, a 24-port gigabit switch from TrentNet with PoE+. That's a flavor of power over Ethernet, so the same cable the networks also powers that supports devices that need a little more power, but even better, it more tightly constrains the delivered voltage range, which can mean more operational stability. With 24 ports and a total 370-watt power allowance, it handles everything. One little bit of a bother with this unit is that taming that power supply in a 1U rack mount means it has a fan that sounds a little bit like a hairdryer motor, but that's a tiny trade-off. Bottom line, the TrendNet TPE TG240G 24-port PoE plus gigabit switch is a one-piece solution to 24 needs. Marty Winston with News Tips Bulletin for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thank you for that News Tip Bulletin review. And before we get back to Nate Evans and we have a couple more stories to go over, we do have a winner in our contest that we give away every Friday, an MX2 Anywhere mouse from Logitech. Very, very spiffy looking. It's for the I think they kind of market it as the business, the mouse for the business person on the go. Like it's very very nice colors, very clean lines, and definitely something you should go check out if you aren't so fortunate to win it here on Computer America. But yeah, we have one such lucky person waiting to figure out their name or find out if their name is being called. So I assume they already know their name. They don't need to figure out their name. But
All right, let's do it.
Anticipating their name to be called.
This week's social media winner is Patricia Simpkin. Patricia Simpkin, you are this week's social media winner. Congratulations. Patricia listens to us in Loveland, Ohio. Patricia wins the Logitech MX Anywhere 2 wireless mouse. As Ben says, it's got the dark field technology, so it works on virtually any surface, like your jeans or glass. You can pair up to 3 computers and switch between them with the Easy Switch technology right built into the mouse. Works with Bluetooth or the interface that comes with Logitech. It's all there, and it's valued at $80. So congratulations to you, Patricia Simpkin, for being this week's social media winner. And again, head over to computeramerica.com. Get registered for our social media contests. Each social media location that you like or subscribe to counts for as an entry every single week. You just do it once, and then you have that many entries every single week. So head over to computeramerica.com and check it out. So Nathan Evans is here with us, and we're sort of finishing up with the BlackBerry and the Priv. Is it pronounced Priv or Priv? I guess it's Priv, and which will launch later this year. And again, it's a nice looking phone. They've got a couple other ones that they have the phone that looks like it's going to like fold in half, the foldable screen. Have you seen that one, Nate?
I haven't. I know a lot of the manufacturers have been sort of playing around with form factor decisions. I don't think it's helped them. I know they've reported record losses, which is amazing for a company that's already reported record losses. So the bottom, I assume they could see the bottom, and they didn't like what it meant. So I wish them the best of luck. If the phone is well done, and if it represents a change for them to adopt what used to be a competing operating system, then good for them.
That seems to be the general consensus that we're getting from a lot of correspondents and a lot of different people we interview, is that BlackBerry, no one hates BlackBerry. They wish them the best of luck, and they hope they see resurgence. They're not going to buy one, but we hope they stay around. Like that seems to be everyone's attitude.
What about the Square one? Remember they had the Square phone from BlackBerry?
Yes, it was a Passport, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a nice looking phone. Does anything happen?
Buy one, Craig?
No.
No. Well, it has to do with, you could have the best looking phone in the world, or you could have the nicest hybrid, but if there's no EV stations, you're screwed. You could buy the phone, but if there's no software on it, then you're left with a nice brick. And it's just people do things on their phone. A lot of people use them as their own personal computer. And it's hard to make that argument that there's a room in this world for another operating system besides Android and iOS. Notice I left out Microsoft. Microsoft's proposition is that Windows 10 would be that savior. They said the same thing with 8. They said the same thing with 7. I mean, just because a company says something doesn't mean it's going to happen.
But when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone and he said iPhone runs OS 10, everybody stood up and cheered. it was a natural because OS 10 had already all the things they needed, to do it.
I don't. Did he? I don't know if he said that. I don't know if he said it when OS 10 was. I didn't think OS 10 came out till 2010.
No. When he introduced the iPhone, I've almost got the keynote memorized. Quite, by the way, I've watched it many times. He says, the iPhone runs OS 10, and the big logo came out. Everybody stood up and kind of cheered. It was real love.
Well, that's when. But OS 10 is a desktop operating system.
I know, but they hadn't coined the iOS whatever. Then later on they came up with iOS, but they said that the core, the kernel, everything was OS 10 because it already has all the things that we need, to put into this phone. Why reinvent them? So
cool.
All right, so the Priv, it may work. It looks great, but as you say, if it doesn't have the support, that's one other thing you mentioned that was very, very, very true. Is that when iPhone finally did implement NFR technology, it was Apple Pay, and they'd had all the companies, on board with them before they made the announcement.
I think it's necessary. I mean, you can have all the you can have a 4K TV, but if you're going to use it to watch DVDs, why bother? It won't make your movies look any better. And upscaling, you can't upscale 1080p to 4K and call it 4K. It's just upscaled, and it's just you need to match that, and that is why there's something very interesting about using old technology instead of new technology, because there's sort of a base where everybody can get together with. And BlackBerry's biggest selling proposition has always been their BBM. I hope I said that right, because there's a lot of variations of that acronym. But their BlackBerry Messenger has always been their selling point. In fact, we had this conversation. I know we both talked to the gentleman who wrote the book, and he's a very interesting guy. And BlackBerry's always done well in Europe and Saudi Arabia and everything, to the point where governments have always used the closure. They've asked BlackBerry to turn off their instant messaging because it's decentralized. It's been their saving point. I can easily imagine those people, the ones who have to choose between some $2 Android crap phone or a BlackBerry phone that does Android and BBM. That's a winning proposition for a lot of people who have migrated over. And I know BlackBerry has had some success with releasing a BBM messenger on iOS and Android in the past. But for them to join Android, I think is great, because I think the Android market has been sort of reckless in its decentralization. It's prided itself on being sort of a non-conformist thing. Well, that's great, but it's communism versus capitalism. It don't work, man. People want conformity. They don't want your anarchy. They want to know that if they put their credit card, it won't be stolen. They want to know if they download an app that they won't get Chinese porn, or maybe they do, or maybe they want the Chinese porn and their credit card won't be stolen. But they want to trust it. And it's interesting because on this very show we've talked about this. Go back to Apple. Apple's never been hacked. They've never been hacked. The one time they were accused of hacking, it turns out it was Google that had been hacked with that picture scandal. And the fact is that they've done this because they are buttholes. They have it in it's written in their DNA. Apple's not in a company to sell your private information. They don't make any money off that. Google makes all their money off it. Just today there was a news story that Google is finally, and I'm not advocating for this, but they need to be looked at. An investigation was launched today by the U.S. Department of Justice to Google for anti-competitive practices with Android. It took them long enough. This crap's been happening in Europe for years. Of course Google is anti-competitive. Of course they are. They've been sued up the wazoo for it. Android is stolen. It's stolen goods, and everybody knows this. And it wasn't like with Apple that stole Xerox. Apple paid for Xerox. They paid for that technology. Google worked closely with Apple when they were alive to be one of the first app presenters for the iPhone. In fact, they wanted Steve Jobs to be their CEO. Apple picked their CEO, Eric Schmidt. They stole the software the same way Windows stole the Windows design from Apple back in the 80s, because Steve Jobs, for all his brilliance, he was an idiot. He trusted people too much. When you trust people and they steal your core design and use it against you, and what Windows did was Windows took the design of Macintosh, cheapened it out, made it compatible for IBM DOS computers, which were a lot less expensive than Macintosh machines. Windows was crap in the 1980s. Ooh, it was garbage. It was even garbage for the first couple of years of 1990s. I was there. I remember this. It was junk, but it worked kind of good. And then eventually, when they finally got it really good when it was 95, it was good enough. I don't need a Macintosh. I got Windows 95. It plays Doom, plays Duke Nukem, you know,
Yeah.
and it costs less. It costs less than $1,000. Android, yeah, you can put it on all these phones. Every Chinese manufacturer is lining up to make it, but it's a clone. At the base of it, it's a clone. And a clone will never be as good as the original as long as the original keeps innovating. And again, my argument is that the innovation that Apple has demonstrated is leveraging this gigantic user base forward. And it doesn't seem to be getting any smaller. And whereas you're seeing with the Android OEMs, you're seeing the same thing happen to them that happened with the Windows OEMs back in the 90s, like Packard Bell and IBM and all this. They're going out of business. Because they're not making any money. There's no money in the Android marketplace for these OEMs. Even Samsung, go look at Samsung's sales records with the Galaxy 5 and the Note, emerged because the sales stopped. And what did it was that iPhone 6s. Did you know that iPhone 6s is the most successful product Apple's ever made, ever? That's amazing. We're to the point where we can't even count how successful they are with these things now, because it's an orgy of success. It's too much. And at some point, that triggers an emotion in people to say, enough's enough. We want to support someone else because we want someone else to be more successful too. Apple has benefited from this. And at some point, they will screw up. And the screw up has to be so magnificent. I mean, they might as well invent Skynet. They have to really screw up for people to get them out. It will happen, I think, at some point, but not for the foreseeable future.
What makes you so sure about that?
Because everyone else is screwing up for them. And that's because Apple's MO is that Apple doesn't need to screw up. Everyone else is screwing up. The Apple Watch has been successful. Maybe not as successful as the iPad, but it's certainly been successful because they looked at what everyone else, they let everyone else do it first, let them screw up, and corrected other people's mistakes. That stylus, everyone else had a stylus. They had styluses forever on these Android phones. Nobody wanted them. So they decided, hey, we could do this better. And as long as Apple plays that game, like Ben mentioned, by maybe not innovating so much and taking chances in hardware, but but again, leveraging in different ways, then for the foreseeable future, here we are. We spent half this radio show talking about Nintendo and Apple. Mm-hmm. Both companies that were innovators in their field, both companies having survived all of their competitors. And the underlying feature of their survival had to be not so much innovating with the hardware. No one's going to call the Wii U, with the exception of the touchscreen, innovative. In fact, it's quite junky compared to these modern consoles. Mm-hmm. It's not bad, but it's not just. But the other consoles ain't got Mario Maker or Star Fox. Nintendo does. What Apple has, no one else can have. And as long as they have that on their phones or on their touchscreens, they'll be fine. And even if they do start receding into the Weatherlands, yeah, the Wii U's not sold as much as the PlayStation 4, not even close. In fact, it just now only sold more than the Dreamcast. But the thing is, it sells enough to make money. And if this gets through Nintendo to the next console, then they'll keep doing it. Nintendo doesn't have to be number one. It's a silly game of analytics. They just need to survive. And I think people forget that.
Tell me what you think of the Apple Pencil.
I don't know. I haven't used it. But by the way, but I will tell you this: Herman Exum, my tech editor, who's also a graphic designer, who also designed my lovely visage and all the artwork on the site, he's got a really great relationship. And I'm gonna cross my fingers here because I'm gonna mispronounce it. Everybody calls it Wacom. I call them Wacom because Wacom sounds dirty.
Wacom, like walk the dog, like walk the Wacom.
They love Popzara. They love us to death, and I'm bragging about that because we love them. And they send Herman Cintiqs to use and all this stuff, and they love it because he actually draws. And if you read a lot of reviews for computers and everything, people say, oh, the tablet's nice, it's got a lot of buttons. How does it work? How does it work? It's frustrating for me as an editor to read computer reviews because, like, this it benchmarks well and does this. Oh, it runs Photoshop well. What does that mean? By what metric are you saying it runs well compared to what? Herman draws. He says, yeah, this is really good for drawing spiffy. Boom, you just sold it. You just sold somebody a Cintiq. He's excited to use it, but he's a pessimist. He's not on the Apple train like a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with him.
Right.
I will say this: iPad Pro with a pencil stylus is still half the cost of a Cintiq. So what does that mean for our friends over at the W company? we'll see what happens. But we'll continue to be supporters as long as they continue to make great stuff too.
All
I'd
right.
like to use it.
All right. In the last 10 minutes or so, let's talk movies. I was disappointed to find out that the next release of Spectre, the new 007 film, isn't coming out until November. I thought it was coming out earlier.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, but aren't you happy with the song that came out today?
The writing on the wall is on the wall.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I have not heard the song yet.
Just came out this morning.
That's the theme song for that. But it looks good. The reviews look certainly good.
So they're using the song kind of as a promotion for the movie coming up.
Yes, they did the same thing with Adele's, what was it called, Skyfall, 3 years ago. And Sam Smith, of course, is a superstar, and he's a wonderful, wonderful singer. He's got a beautiful falsetto. If you haven't heard the song yet, I hope to have talked a little bit about music here because I want to talk about subjectivity. But the song is good. It's a good song. It's gonna divide people, I think, because it's not what people expected after the last song, and I think people sort of get into that expectation mode where they think, I want another Adele, I want another Adele. Well, you're not getting one, you're getting this. So it's certainly better than the song from Quantum of Solace, which was the duet with Jack White and what's her face, the one that plays the piano, Alicia Keys, which was crap.
What about the one with Shirley Bassey?
Oh, which one? She did several.
Goldfinger.
Great song.
Yeah. Is she still around?
Yeah, she's still around. I would love to hear Shirley Bassey do a new James Bond song. My kind of hope, my selfish hope, was that they would have got Adele to do another one, because they had Shirley Bassey do a couple. So Adele, thanks to Adele, the last James Bond movie won an Oscar for the best song. It made over $1 billion. It's the most successful James Bond movie by any metric, and I think a lot of that had to do with the song. And Adele has a new album coming out, by the way, in November. So the timing would have been great, but they went with Sam Smith.
Why?
Because he's popular. He's got a lot going for him. There's probably political reasons for it too, as being Hollywood. But he's a great singer. I don't know if you've ever heard him. Have you heard him, Ben?
I have not.
He had that one song that everyone liked called "Stay With Me." If you have Apple Music, you can listen for free. No, but he's a great singer. I recommend you listen.
Stay With Me is a good song.
It's a great song, and Tom Petty thought so too. He sued him over it. But he said it copied his "Don't Back Down," and Tom Petty apparently won that argument. But no, he's a great singer. Fantastic falsetto on the song. I'm not sure how it is. I have to see it in context of the film. I remember in 2006, I didn't like Chris Cornell's version of "You Know My Name" from Casino Royale. I didn't like it, and then I saw it, then I love it. Context helps, Context helps.
Yes, it certainly does. Any other movies on the horizon that we're looking forward to?
Besides Steve Jobs, nothing standing out right now. I think we're getting ready for the award season, so the tide's sort of receding a little bit as we get ready for the tidal wave.
What's the Batman versus Superman? That is until 2016. So.
Yeah, I think March next year.
Yeah, that's it.
I think like the big releases for this year, which aren't even going to be out by the time you're on the show next time, is new Star Wars coming out. That's going to happen.
I would hope I'm on before December.
Right.
That movie comes out on my birthday, actually, so it was a nice little present for me.
Oh.
Hey, speaking of birthdays, tomorrow's is Greg's. In case we didn't get that daily plug for Greg's birthday in there.
Oh, happy birthday!
Yes, it's my 38 again.
There you go. Fun fact.
Yes.
Actually, and we'll never have to hear that chipmunk awful version again. Did you hear, speaking of music, that Happy Birthday to You is no longer copyrighted?
I heard that.
You no longer have to pay royalties. So, Greg, go get a real high-fidelity version of that, and let's play that from now on.
I would have loved to see them enforce that copyright.
Right.
But
well, it's been around for like 102 years, I think, or something.
Oh man, yeah. That's the danger of some copyrights, is that they sort of congest originality. But no, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Mazel tov if you're Jewish, and so everybody's happy. Are you Jewish?
Yes.
Mazel tov. Mazel tov. I'm gonna smash the glass. My best friend growing up was Jewish, and so we always had golden coins and everything. And I know a few words that a few naughty words that I can't say on the radio. But they're very funny. But I still call everyone a schmuck. So
Well, we know
of
what that
course.
means. Yeah.
God, Yiddish is so much fun, but I don't know any Hebrew.
My
Now,
My
what's that?
father was an attorney, a lawyer, and he told me the story that there was a judge that he used to be in front of. The judge's name was Judge Schmuck, literally, and he couldn't.
That's awesome.
He couldn't talk to him. You know, he had to. It was just couldn't do
You're
it.
an honorable schmuck. Let me.
It was his name, you know.
That's why a lot of Jewish people anglicize their name when your name is Schmuck.
I guess just for that reason, you know.
Change it to Smith. But
Exactly.
no, I think it's fun though. Happy birthday, and many candles.
Yes.
But as far as movies coming out, I checked Rotten Tomatoes because frankly nothing's big this week. But I know they have Hotel Transylvania. First one was fun. Animation fans know it because Genny Tartarovsky did it, and he never got to do his Dark Crystal 2. But if you're an animation fan, the first one was fun. I heard the second one is terrible, but whatever. Finally, after 40 years, we finally have another cannibalism movie out with The Green Inferno. So it's about time. That's a genre that's not been plucked.
I saw a couple of trailers for that, and it's definitely not for the squeamish, but at the same time, you're right. It's like, hey, something different, yeah.
Yeah, I recommend go see Cannibal Holocaust, by the way, which is a good movie that has a lot. There's a lot of animal killing, which is distressing, but it's got just the right amount of human cannibalism to make it entertaining.
No, that's good.
Take your girlfriend or significant other to go see it, and trust me, that'll be a litmus test. If she survives, she's a keeper, or he or she, whatever your persuasion. They announced that Sigourney Weaver will be in the new Ghostbusters film.
Oh,
right.
So basically, everyone but Rick Moranis at this point. So,
of course, what's his name passed away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So he couldn't be. Although with today's technology, they could have maybe CGI'd him in.
He could be the new Slimer.
Yeah.
They but no, I think it's going to be interesting. I know the director Paul Feig.
Does she play the same character, just older now, or does she come in something else?
From what I understand, none of the characters are playing their old characters. They're just sort of cameoing. So this kind of poo-poos the idea that there'll be another Ghostbusters just with those characters. So I think it's I just watched the movie Spy the other day, which was the 50th movie apparently with Melissa McCartney and director Paul Feig after Bridesmaids and The Heat. I laughed. It was really funny, and I liked The Heat quite a bit. And I really like Bridesmaids. I have confidence that this team can do it. They've made very, very funny movies, and if you haven't watched Spy yet, you guys watch it, especially Jason Statham, who's hilarious, who's really funny. But it's a good movie, and I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that Ghostbusters is good too. I don't care that it's all female. I think that could be fun.
I've always thought of Jason Statham as the action character that he's always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he spoofs his character in this movie. He's still an action guy, but he's a doofus, and it's very R-rated. I'll just warn you, but it's extremely funny, and I actually like Melissa McCartney quite a bit. I think she's very funny. And Jude Law's in it. It's got a great cast. He's
a unique actor. He can do all kinds of quirky characters that he's portrayed over the years.
He's one of those rare pretty boys that has genuine talent, and he's very funny. And I saw a movie with him a couple months ago where he played a grandfather, and I forget the name of it. And it's got I'll have to get the name. I'll have to look it up on the Wikipedia while we're talking, but. No, he's excellent. I really liked. I first started liking Jude Law when I saw him as Gigolo Joe, in the Steven Spielberg movie AI.
Yeah, that's true. And then also I liked him in the movie where he played. It was a very serious movie with Tom Hanks.
Yes.
Road
to Perdition.
Yeah, Road to Perdition. He played an assassin. He did an amazing. I said, when I saw that, I said, boy, that's amazing. How he could do that.
By the way, the movie is called Don Hemingway.
Oh, okay.
I recommend it. Very good British film. Very funny too, by the way.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, any other recommendations? We got about a minute left. Tell us what's happening with Popzara.
Popzara is Popzara. Popzara will have lots of cool podcasts. I know we have a interview coming up with an African game developer. They exist, and I haven't heard it yet, but apparently it was actually being recorded while we were recording our radio show by our own mutual editor Josh Boykin. And so that should be fun. And lots of talk about the lack of diversity in the gaming industry. Listen up, people. Don't just talk about it. Go out and talk about it instead of just talking about it. And hopefully Popzara will add to the conversation.
All right.
So I'm excited about that.
All right. Well, Nathan, again, always a pleasure having you here on the show. You'll stay with us to the end for our after Computer America broadcast.
Yes.
But yes, and we're going to see you again next month on the same time, I believe, and we'll have you on the program. If we don't have you, yeah, we have you on the 30th. On the 30th of October, we got you, which is Halloween, I guess. How appropriate. Appropriate. But again, you can check out the website popzara.com. We have a link to Popzara at computeramerica.com. Again, congratulations to our social media winner, Patricia Simpkin in Loveland, Ohio, who won the Logitech MX Anywhere 2 wireless mouse. That at $80. Congratulations to you. And again, don't forget to all of our listeners to register for your chance to win next Friday, where we will be giving away another Logitech MX2 Anywhere mouse. It's going to be a lot of fun.
90 seconds.
Coming up on Monday, Computer America correspondent Michael Miller is going to be joining us in our new daytime slot. He's agreed to do it, and we're very pleased to have him. He's going to be on with both hours. Mike's the author of well over 150 books, and a very prolific writer, and we're going to talk about everything from Windows 10 and beyond.
Yeah, and yes, listener, we did receive your question, and I guess we'll get to it on Monday.
Yes,
60 seconds.
We will get to that on Monday again. But thank you all so much for joining us here on Computer America, and thanks. And again, I hope you have a great weekend planned. I know we do. We have guests coming over. It's going to be interesting.
And happy birthday to Craig.
And thank you. Happy birthday to Craig. Thank you, Nathan. Yes, your host is 38 years old again, and we'll continue that tradition.
What is that, 40 years now?
To the end of time.
Forever young.
Exactly. Anyway, that about wraps it up. Thank you again for watching us, and Ben and I will see you at the same time, same channel. So until Monday afternoon, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. See you Monday afternoon.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, everybody, again, thanks for watching us on our live video stream. Nathan, thanks again for being here with us. And,
You're welcome.
Yeah, and we'll see you next month, and we'll see all of you on Monday afternoon. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.